Morning everyone. Somebody's asked me to do a video of the new pond that we're building here at the shop. I'd just like to stress before I do go through it that this is, with dealers, we don't build particularly like ponds in our store. We wouldn't build them for our customers, if you know what I mean. They're meant for holding tanks, with the idea that hopefully we're not going to keep stock in there for too long. I mean, obviously the filter systems that we use on them are great and the fish can last in here, but they're not specifically designed for growing ponds or anything like that. They are basically holding ponds. Now everybody knows I'm a big advocate of Nexus Filtration. I run, well, let me show you. I run on our Tozai pond, I run a Nexus 220, which filters this. This is 1600 gallons. Use them for all the small Tozai, which I've got a couple in there keeping the system going. But yeah, this will be used more in the spring, but we keep it running anyway. Then I've got my main pond, which is slightly covered at the moment, as you can see. Water clarity is great. On that system, I use a Nexus 320 Auto with the 24-inch bead, and that goes on the skimmer. Fantastic system. Never have any issues with it. This is in the main shop. This is in the retail side. Then I've got a 2,200 gallon pond behind me. You can see he's still got the covers on, sorry about that, which runs on a Nexus 220, just a 220 and a 55 watt UV. That 24-inch bead there runs the long system. There's nothing in there at the moment, so and also runs on a Nexus 320. So that's pretty much the retail side of it. Now I'll just take you into the other side, which is my quarantine system. We're lucky where we actually have a dedicated quarantine system. Again, very simple. Nothing. I have 4 ponds, 4 individual systems, as you can see down there. They're all identical, running on Nexus 320s. That's all I have on them, is a Nexus 320 on each one, going through a UV, pump, 2 returns, easy peasy simple. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into where we're building our new system now. So this pond is part of our quarantine facility. The 2,000 gallon ponds are great, but over the last few years we've started bringing in quite a lot of big fish, sort of like over 80 cm. And in the past I've had to use one of the ponds in the retail system, which I don't like doing. I'd rather have it all in one place, which is why we've started to build this system. Now, again, it's a basic, simple system. What I'll do is let me just spin the camera around and we'll get some, and I can show you better. Right, so that's it. That's the base. You can see the brick in the middle. That's where the bottom drain is. It's a diffuser bottom drain running on a 4-inch line. Right, now the problem that we have here where we are is that the land is on peat. So it's very soft where we are. So I'll put the pictures on that we did, because I was in Japan when we started building this system, so I got the pictures through on my phone. Now what we did is we put in about 6 piles in here. So we dug 6 4-foot holes and we filled them with concrete. We let that set, and then we put this main concrete base on that you can see now. So in the main you can see the bottom drain there. It's just covered up now. Today we're going to start putting the block up, which is going to be great. So let me just go through it with you. We've got the bottom drain there, goes across, comes up there where you can see a 4-inch and a 1-inch pipe. The 4-inch pipe is the bottom drain coming out. That's going to feed the filter, and the 1-inch line is for an air diffuser, which is there. So then you can see this 1.5-inch pipe, which comes along the side. It's going to go behind the block. Then it's going to come round, and then that is going to go up exactly in that corner and then come out on an elbow. So there'll be still no return back into the pond. It's going to come in on a TPR. But yeah, it's simple. Then there's going to be another return on this side where the filter is going to be sat. We're going to put a skimmer on the system, just for a bit of extra flow. I'm not actually going to put that through a filter just yet. I'm just going to recirculate it for now. And there will be another return going in. So this is stage one really of the build. We've got the base in. Now with the concrete, it was quite simple. We used the local company and they came in and barrowed it in for us. We also used the concrete with fines. So if you are going to do something with the pond, you should always get the fines in there. It adds a lot of strength to the concrete, which is fantastic. Now on this pond, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So on all my systems here, I'm using Nexus. I'm running Nexus. The stuff in the shop, I run 2 of the 24-inch micro K1 beads. Now, again, going back to how this is just a holding tank. It's only for my quarantine systems. So fish are only going to be in here for probably about 6 weeks before they're either shipped out, exported out, taken to customers' ponds, picked up, or moved into the retail facility for sale. So anything large, we need to put them in here. Now then, you know, don't forget, I'm in a polytunnel. I've got no leaves. I've got nothing else. The only muck that's going to be in this pond is fish waste. There's nothing else, right? So what I'm going to do, and it's just a trial more than anything, I'm going to use one of the 30-inch Evolution Aqua K1 micro beads. Now, people are saying, oh, well, you need more on it, you need more on it. I've installed these beads on their own on ponds outside without an issue. So again, I wouldn't, if we were building a pond for a client, I certainly wouldn't just use a bead, but we're inside. There's going to be nothing going in there apart from the fish waste. There isn't going to be that many fish in here because, you know, I think this shipment, we've got probably about 10 fish over 75 cm. So anything of any size, we just want to get them in here instead of putting them in. And also with the 2,000 gallon systems, you know, they're going to go in with fish smaller than them. So, you know, when the other fish are eating, the big fish aren't going to get as much. So anyway, it's just going to be I just think it's going to be a better environment for them. So with the bead, another good thing with the bead is you can put them on recirculate. So when the new fish arrive, obviously we have to treat them. We've got to treat them for all sorts of parasites and stuff like that. So what I can do, a lot of the treatments these days are not as effective as they used to be. So especially with filtration, taking treatments out very fast, too fast, and stuff like that. So now with the ideal situation with this bead filter is that I can turn it to recirculate, so it bypasses the bead filter. So what I'll probably do is add the treatment, let it go around the entire system, including the bead, for about 10 minutes, and then I'll put it on to recirculate, and then I'll leave it for a few hours just to recirculate in the pond, making the treatment stronger for longer. Well, that's my idea anyway, so whether that'll work out or not, I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to try it. Now, I've always, with doing this, I've always got other options afterwards in case it doesn't work. But I think it's going to work just fine. From the experience we've had it from installing, I've probably installed, I don't know, probably this year alone we've installed over 20 micro bead filters on ponds with Nexuses. So I'm going to try it and see what happens. It's got because it's good flow rate, so it's good for the fish. It's going to keep the metabolism high. It's going to give them something to work with. So hopefully it's going to do the job. But like I say, I'm going to put the skimmer on, and for now it's just going to recirculate the skimmer, and the bead filter is going to do all the work. Now, in case it doesn't work, then I can simply put the bead filter onto the skimmer line. I can put a Nexus 320 on here, and that's fine. So it's pretty much an experiment, but please, just to stress, this is just for holding. It isn't a long-term pond for these fish. It's just when they come in, we're going to get them healthy again, we're going to get them strong, then we're going to get them to the clients, and pretty much that's what we're going to do. So this is part one. Today we're going to start blocking it up. So by next weekend it should be fully blocked, and we'll also have the king span in round the edges. So next weekend we're hoping to be fully finished with the block. Then we're going to put the king span in. Then the fiberglasses will come in during the week after next. So hopefully by 2 weeks we should have water going into this pond. Like I said, it's quite simple. It's not a complicated system at all. It's a one bottom drain going into a filter, coming back out by 2 returns plus a skimmer. So it's not hard, it's not anything. Now, if you've got any questions about how we laid the concrete or anything else, just let you know that on the base, there's like a 3 to 4 inch fall on all the sides going into the drain, which is plenty, because with big fish in this pond, the muck's going to get swirled around anyway, so it's all going to go down the drain. So let's say this is part one. The pond at the moment, when we've worked out the internal dimensions, roughly it's going to be around 3,800 gallons. Bit extra, well, not that much extra with the filter. So I'd probably say roughly about 3,850. We'll have a bit of a bet on it now and see whether I ever come through. So, but yeah, so this is part one, and we will put the rest of the parts on as and when. Stay tuned.